We heard about the opportunity of this, International Adult Expo, and we decided to buy a booth here and present our organization as a trauma-based organization helping kids who've been affected by ISIS. Because part of our work in Iraq is we've helped to rescue and facilitate recovery of children. But we found out here many of the actors and people in this industry, many young gals have been sexually abused. That's one of the reasons why they're here. We've been working with sexually abused victims for years in our organization, from kids who've been incarcerated to troubled youth to kids overseas who've been affected by ISIS. So this actually was a natural fit. And we've set up a booth giving away our movies on trauma, my life testimony, and books. And there's been no shortage of people wanting to not only come here, but end up taking pictures with us. And we're talking key people in the industry, from producers to actors and actresses to their fan base. So it's been pretty amazing. We're using strategy when we're here. We're not preaching at people, but more Jesus was a friend to the sinner. And that's what we're here doing, is making friends, being a light in darkness, and helping people at their point of pain, which is trauma. That's how we're developing relationships and even being able to pray with people here. We haven't had any negative feedback here. The only time we've had a little bit is actually from Christians who aren't here, saying, why are you going there and whatnot? But, Jesus hung out with the sinners. Mary Magdalene, he went to them. He didn't wait for them to come to him. We were very intentional in both fasting and prayer before we came here this week. And we've got literally tens of thousands of people praying for us. And then people on the outside of this convention center walking and praying. So we're in a bubble of grace. We have joy. We feel God's love for people, and it's working. You can't imagine the level of depravity here that's being promoted and celebrated. But you know what? We decided to go right in the middle of it, walk with God's spirit and light, and we're reaching out our hand. We've also got our dog, Scout, who is a magnet for so many of the sex industry workers. Oh, can I pet your dog? And that opens up our conversation. And we're talking about very famous people in this industry. Next thing you know, they want our movie, they want our book, and they want to stay connected, which we see as an opportunity to bring them to Christ. We've faced ISIS in Iraq on a number of occasions because we've been helping kids who've been affected by ISIS. And from direct contact to, mortars, everything. And I'll say this, because I was able to reach ISIS fighters too, both having to defend myself against them and then the opportunity to pray for some. But pornography is the spiritual ISIS of America. That is the greatest threat to men, families, children, and I have no problem letting people know we don't believe in this, but we're here to help folks in it. I think pornography is the spiritual ISIS because it's able to infect and message and make people become extremists in the way of depravity and loss of natural affection for wives, girlfriends, looking at people as objectives and then bringing them into bondage and slavery. We've faced ISIS in extreme conditions in Iraq, but I believe that pornography is the spiritual ISIS of America and is a greater threat. Look how it's destroying families, taking away men's power, even reaching children. This, Christians in America need to take very serious. The threat of ISIS or extremism to Americans, we've been affected by killings and different things that's happened, but you got to know this, pornography is a 24/7 attack against Americans, even Christians in the church. You look at, the carnage that it's caused and still continues every day. People have asked me, hey, should you be there and, looking at different things? And I said, well, first of all, my wife's with me. She's a black belt and she can knock me out with a kick. So there's not that issue. The other thing is I thank God, by his power and grace, I don't struggle with pornography. So I look at these girls like daughters, and I'm even a grandfather. So we're working as a team, and we have other team members here, very accountable and working together as a unit. The world gives them value by what they do with their body. We look at their heart, we look in their eyes and their soul and tell them they're valuable, not because of what they do, but because God loves them. There was one gal that stopped by our booth, and she's a cam artist where she, uses the webcam. She told me this: the thing she struggles with most is rejection. That's the wound on her that she struggles with because she doesn't really know her true identity, and we've been able to reach her. We've got two couples, married couples here, and the two single guys that are with us. But Chaz, a dad to 26 children, adopted children. He's like a grandfather to so many. My wife, the girls are just drawn to her because of her love and compassion, and she's a mother figure. So they're wanting to hug her, wanting to talk to her. It's really pretty amazing to see what God's doing.